stand-up pouches, scam, not a scam. I'm seeing these as sustainable solutions.
Well, we talked a bit about, we were thinking about like reducing pack weight. So a stand-up pouch is pretty low weight.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, transportation terms, less gasoline, less diesel to transport those pouches. So when you go back to what I call the early days of sustainability, pouches were seen as being like this great format because it was sturdy, they didn't break, they were very lightweight, and that's how they were considered sustainable. But, going back 10, 15 years, no one was worrying about recyclability, flexible plastics leaching into the earth. I mean, we're breathing them in now. You and I are both breathing microplastics and nanoplastics in as we sit here. No one was talking about those things. And the question is that sustainable? I mean, are we a society that wants to be basically throwing chemicals into the air that we don't understand? Is that what we want to do? Because if we're going to be turning to pouches, then we're literally creating a microplastic time bomb because they're everywhere. And we know that many of the large companies are they've got teams of engineers trying to remove pouches and sachets and packets from their supply chain. Because, right now we have so many chemicals in our earth and in the seas. It's no longer a joke.
Yeah. Yeah. So and I hear a lot of agencies, a lot of brands moving to stand-up pouches. And you walk down any grocery aisle, and there's just you can't not see stand-up pouches. But they pack out really light. They reduce the amount of shipping container weight. Like, there's a great story there, but then once it actually delivers, what happens after? And that's where I think everything kind of falls apart. And it's really hard to balance, even like with an LCA, it's hard to balance what that looks like in terms of a life cycle analysis. It's like, yes, you've got all this great data beforehand, but once it hits consumers, it falls apart.
Yeah. So cradle to gate, lovely story. It's the gate to the ex-cradle that really is the worry. And there are a lot of people saying we should use heavier, rigid packaging because then we know it can be recycled. But do the maths, and as you say, it's a complex situation. One could be right for one product, one could be right for another, one could be right for one state, one could be right for another state. You cannot make that kind of generalization. Everything is individual.
That's it for the show. Thanks so much for joining us on Package Design Unboxed. If you have any questions, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm always available for questions.